Chapter 1, The Imitation. Mom, look! Lila raced into the kitchen. Lila raced into the kitchen where Ellie and Max were eating breakfast for school. It arrived, she said. Is it an imitation? Mom dropped the cling film she'd been wrapping around Ellie's sandwiches and seized the silvery envelopes. Oh, look! Isn't it pretty with the little white flowers woven onto the paper? She eased the envelope open very carefully. Gorgeous, Lila said admiringly. What is it? Max asked. Lila and Mom glared at him. Auntie Gemma and soon-to-be Uncle Liam's wedding imitation, of course. Max shrugged. But we've known about that silly wedding for ages. Why don't we need an imitation? What are you guys getting so excited for? Leah sighed and Mom shook her head. It's important, Max. Auntie Gemma's been waiting ages for these to arrive. They were a special order. You know she wants everything to be perfect for the wedding. Max groaned. Yes, you never stop going on about it. I'll be glad when it's over. Only another month of weddings this and weddings that. Weddings, weddings, weddings. You know that TV show, The Brady Bunch, where Jan sees Marcia getting tremble and he's always like, oh, Marcia, Marcia, Marcia. Can I see, Mom? Ellie asked, leaning over to look at the pretty dark pink and silver card. Ooh, it's got our names on it. Miss Ellie Thomas. She giggled. It sounded very posh. Then she frowned thoughtfully. It doesn't mention Rascal, she said. Lila rolled her eyes. Ellie, you weren't expecting Aunt Gemma to invite a frickin' dog. To her smart wedding, were you? Leah looked over at Rascal's cushion. Especially not that dog. Ellie had to smile. Rascal was asleep on his back with all four paws up in the air. His paws twitched ever so often. As she watched him, he started running in his sleep, his little legs bicycling. And he's lovely, she told Leela firmly. Yeah, he's a lovely little monster, Ellie. Rascal at a wedding. Just think about it. Lima folded her arms and shot a dirty look at Ellie. Ellie sighed. I suppose so. She had to admit where Lima was right. Wherever Rascal went, chaos followed. So when's the wedding? Jack asked. Beginning of May, Ellie explained. Auntie Gemma wanted it to be springtime, but not too cold. They were waiting for their dog training class to start, and Ellie was telling Jack about the wedding and how Rascal couldn't go. Is it a big, smart dude, then? Do you have to wear some silly pink dress? It's very smart, and I'm going to have to try on my bridesmaid's dress next week. Ellie made a disgusted face. I'm looking forward to it, but I didn't know that Auntie Gemma didn't know that dog training is on a Wednesday now, so I'm gonna have to miss next week's class. Rascal and Jack's huge Great Dane Hugo had been moved up to the immediate dog training class, which where once a week, every Wednesday, the lessons were more slightly difficult. Some of the dogs, they were very clever. There was a German Shepherd named Frisky, who Ellie thought had been given the completely wrong name. He wasn't Frisky at all. He was the best behaved dog she ever seen. Ellie was convinced that if Dan, Frisky's owner, told him to walk up and down the hall on his hind legs holding a biscuit between his teeth, he'd do the trick without even licking the biscuit. But Dan was very nice, and he told Ellie that Jack Russells were a nightmare to train. She was doing really well with Rascal, since Rascal had just shot in front of Dan and tripped him. It was good of him to say so. Unfortunately, Amelia and her spaniel, Goldie, had moved up too, which meant she was still there to make mean comments about Rascal and Hugo all the time. She was waiting for the class to start, too, sitting close to them with Goldie on her lap and a superior look on her face. She had her hair down in a ponytail with a feathery band around it. And she looked far too smart for dog training. She always did. I was a page boy at a cousin's wedding when I was 5, Jack told Ellie. I had to wear this itchy blue velvet suit. It was a disaster, he shuddered. Nerd. What happened? Ellie said anxiously. I was supposed to be walking behind my cousin, carrying the rings, but she was walking really slowly, and I trotted down her dress a long train bet. I tripped over and fell on top of the train, and my cousin ended up pulling me down the aisle on it. I kept toward the rings, though. Ellie laughed. She couldn't help thinking, what if she did something awful like that? Oh, you're gonna look dreadful in a bridesmaid's dress. Ellie looked up, prize winning. It was Amelia, of course, with a nasty smile on her face. You're the kind of person who always wears jeans, Ellie. You look like a ratty mess. Amelia. Said Ellie. What? You know I'm right, Ellie. Actually, it wasn't about that. Do you know that Hugo's eating your headband? Ellie had to admit it was quite nice to see a dog training class where Rascal wasn't the worst behaved dog in the world for once. Jack's mom took to harness Amelia's headband to the ladies and washed off the dog horn. But Ellie had a feeling it was never going to be the same again. It didn't help that she and Jack were looking at each other and cracking up throughout class. At least it made the lesson a little less serious. Rascal was finding the immediate level fairly difficult. Joe was trying to teach the dogs the same type of things they learned in the beginner's course, but they all got a little more tricky. So they'd practice sit and stay. But for now, the dogs had to stay more for 2 minutes. Rascal's worst bit was the food manners training, where dogs were supposed to ignore bowls of food and not jump up or beg when their owners were holding a biscuit, for Rascal, ignoring a food bowl, was tortured. Frisky and Billy the Lab, who was almost as unfrisky as Frisky was, sat gazing at the bowl with angelic expressions. And even Hugo managed not to eat anything, although he kept standing up and looking hopefully at Jack. Meanwhile, Rascal already wolfed down half of his crunchies and stared at Ellie if she was mad when she took the bowl away. Ellie sighed. Maybe you'll do better when Max brings you next Wednesday, she told Rascal, but she didn't feel very hopeful.